Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking on a mission we've been looking forward to for a while. We're trying to crack the code on lasting success.
Yeah, and we've pulled together some amazing sources that go way beyond just talking about money.
They lay out this whole framework, they call it the Algebra of Wealth, and it's a foundational approach that really links your personal character, your career, and your investments together.
And we should be really clear, this isn't about getting rich quick. Not at all. We're talking about something, I think, much more profound.
Which is?
It's economic security.
Yeah.
And the framework defines that as two key things. One, the complete absence of economic anxiety. And two, and this is critical, control over your own time.
That's the finish line.
That is the finish line. Because when you get that, you get the agency to live your life on your own terms, your relationships, your health. They're not constantly being stressed by money worries.
I love that definition. It just immediately reframes wealth from some abstract number in a bank account to a tangible, life-altering state. So, to get there, our source material gives us this formula we're diving into today. Focus plus, and then in parentheses, Stoicism times Stoicism. Times diversification.
A whole equation for life.
It is. And we're going to start with that foundational piece, with Stoicism. But before we get to the character stuff, we really have to look at the world we're in right now. We have to understand why this formula is so urgent.
Because the current financial landscape is, well, it's brutal. It is actively working against the average person who's just trying to build a stable life.
Right.
I mean, look at the data. The median home price in the U.S. is now 6 times the median annual income.
6 times.
6 times. 50 years ago, for your parents or grandparents, it was just 2 times. That is a massive systemic shift.
And if you fall off that tightrope, the safety nets are basically gone. We've seen so much evidence that medical debt is still the #1 cause of bankruptcy for families.
It's a system that just dramatically favors capital over labor. So the goal here in this deep dive isn't some utopian fantasy about fixing the whole system. It's about giving you the playbook to prosper within this system, to gain control, and eventually to buy back your freedom.
Okay, so that freedom starts with the bedrock, with character. Let's get into that first variable, Stoicism.
Right. Because economic security isn't something you just get by reading a book,
Yeah.
It's the result of a consistent, durable pattern of behavior.
You have to align what you do every day with what you say you want in the long run.
And that takes character.
This is where that common advice about just work hard really falls apart. Hard work is necessary? Of course it is. It's the engine.
But it doesn't automatically equal character. Not if money is the only goal. Because if that's the goal, you will, by definition, never have enough.
And there's an insidious side effect to that, isn't there? People use providing for the family as an excuse to neglect their health, their relationships.
Absolutely. And that neglect leads right into what our sources call the hedonic treadmill. You get a raise, you buy a nicer car, you move to a better neighborhood.
And those luxuries become necessities, almost overnight.
Instantly. Our brains are wired for scarcity, to always be looking for the next thing. But we live in a world of abundance, and consumer culture just exploits that mismatch relentlessly.
It's the classic moving of the goalposts. You finally save up and get the boat, and the second you have it, you're already thinking about the better boat.
And what does that really cost us in terms of actual satisfaction?
A huge amount, I'd imagine.
A huge amount. We can look at some of the latest research from 2023, which is fascinating. It shows that, higher incomes correlate with more happiness, but
the extra happiness you get for each dollar starts to diminish.
It diminishes dramatically. The jump in satisfaction from making $60,000 a year to $120,000.
Yeah.
It's the exact same as the jump from $120 to $240.
Wow. So beyond a certain point, chasing more money actually starts to take away from the real sources of happiness.
Your relationships, your sense of purpose, exactly.
So, okay, we've got this internal enemy, the treadmill, and we have the external pressure. How does practical Stoicism help us fight back?
It gives us space. The core Stoic virtue is wisdom. It's knowing what you can control, which is basically just your own mind and your response.
Versus what you can't control, which is everything else.
Everything else, all the outside events. Real power is in that little space between a stimulus and your response. Your friend buys a bigger house. The stimulus is envy. The reactive response is to overspend.
But the Stoic response is to choose a different behavior.
Choose to double down on your own savings plan instead.
And building that muscle, it requires a system, right? Not just willpower.
Right. You have to make that proactive choice a habit. And you can use frameworks like cue, routine, reward to train yourself.
Give us an example.
Okay, so instead of waiting to feel inspired to save money, the cue is Friday paycheck hits the bank. The routine is automated transfer to savings. The reward is that feeling of control, of reduced anxiety.
That reminds me so much of the story from the source material about learning to write. The author said forcing himself to write the blog every Thursday night didn't make the writing easier. But doing it over and over, that routine changed his identity. The habit stuck, and eventually he just was a writer.
It's that virtuous cycle. And we need to build that for our financial habits and, importantly, for our physical habits.
Which leads to the last non-negotiable part of character building.
Physical fitness. Regular exercise is just essential for managing stress, for mental bandwidth, for productivity.
And the science on this is pretty profound.
It's amazing. One huge review found that exercise is 50% more effective than either therapy or drugs for treating depression.
Wait, say that again? 50% more effective?
50%. That's a staggering number.
We talk about maximizing our focus for work, but if we aren't sweating regularly, we're just leaving so much resilience and productivity on the table.
It's financial planning in disguise.
So if Stoicism gives you the character to stick with the plan, the next question is, what's the plan?
And that's where we bring in the next variable, which is all about maximizing your income.
Let's move to focus. The F in the formula, this is the engine, and it's all about earning and career strategy. Hard work is the horsepower.
But focus is the steering. It's about directing that energy efficiently in a world that is just designed to distract you.
And the first piece of advice we need to throw out is follow your passion.
Oh, absolutely. Our sources note that this is usually advice from people who are already rich, and frankly, it often leads to exploitation.
How so?
Well, if you're passionate about a really competitive, glamorous field like luxury fashion, you create a market where huge companies, even brands like Chanel, can get away with unpaid interns.
Because there's an endless line of passionate people willing to work for free.
Exactly. The better path, the one that leads to actual wealth, is to follow your talent.
Talent being something that's observable, that's testable.
Right. It's what comes easily to you that other people find hard. It could be curiosity, grit, spatial reasoning, or even just being short if you want to be a jockey.
And the key insight here is that mastery is what creates passion, not the other way around.
Yes. Doing something difficult really, really well. Nobody grows up dreaming of being a tax lawyer.
Not usually, no.
But the best tax lawyers become deeply passionate because they are masters of a complex domain. They solve hard problems and they get rewarded for it. That reward is way more powerful than the fleeting desire for glamour.
So once you've found your talent and you're committed to mastery, how do you focus that effort?
You embrace constraints. It sounds counterintuitive, but busy people, parents, people with a side hustle, they often get the most done.
Because they have to be efficient.
They have no choice.
Yeah.
They have to say no to low-value tasks. Steve Jobs said it best. Focus isn't about saying yes. It's about saying no to the 100 other good ideas.
That's powerful. And strategically, we also have to stop seeing our careers as some linear ladder.
It's more like a mountain range, peaks and valleys. And sometimes you have to switch mountains to find a higher summit.
And the stats on this are pretty clear.
They're undeniable. In 2023, job switchers saw a 7.7% compensation increase, people who stayed put, only 5.7%.
Wow. So you have to be willing to interview to use that market data as leverage.
Your internal manager will almost never value you as much as the external market will.
So we should be focusing on fields where our pay can scale, like finance or software. But our source material has a really interesting counterpoint on this.
It does. The Main Street economy.
Yeah.
The trades.
Plumbers, electricians.
Exactly. We're looking at a projected shortage of 500,000 plumbers by 2027. These are paths with incredible demand, minimal student debt, and huge scalable business opportunities.
So a skilled electrician with their own small crew could actually achieve the same economic security as a corporate manager.
Absolutely. And with far, far more control over their time.
Okay, that's a fantastic point, but let me push back a bit. Isn't there a hidden cost? The physical strain, maybe the lack of social status?
That's a fair question, but that's where the Stoicism comes back in. You're trading social validation for economic control. And yes, the physical strain is real. But the stress of 60-hour weeks in a cubicle doing work you hate, coupled with huge financial anxiety, that also takes a massive physical toll. The Main Street economy gives you a tangible link between your effort and your profit. It's your hard work.
That's a great point about control. Okay, so we've got the character, we've got the income engine. Now we bring in the biggest multiplier of all, time, T.
And our sources are crystal clear on this. Time is your most important asset. You could always earn back money, you lose.
But you can never earn back time.
Never. And this all starts with really truly understanding compound interest. Einstein supposedly called it the eighth wonder of the world.
It's exponential, not linear.
And the power of starting early, even with small amounts, is just, it's mind-blowing.
Let's use the example from the sources. If you invest $12,000 a year from age 25 to 35, and then you just stop, you'll have $2.5 million by age 65.
$2.5 million. Now compare that to someone who waits. They invest the same $12,000 a year, but from age 45 to 55.
Same total amount of money invested?
Same total amount. They end up with only about $500,000.
Wait, a $2 million difference just from a 10-year head start? That math feels almost fake. What is going on there?
The magic of the curve.
Yeah.
The money you put in at 25 has 40 years to grow. After a decade, the returns on that money start earning their own returns. It's a snowball.
So the person starting at 45 is just too far behind the curve.
They can't catch up. The point isn't the specific dollar amount. The point is you have to start right now. Today is your best investment window.
And working against you, using that same compounding power, is the silent killer.
Inflation. It's using that same exponential math, but against your savings. A 3% inflation rate means what cost $100 today will cost $243 in 30 years.
So you have to get a real return, a return above inflation, just to break even.
Just to stay in place. So we have to be obsessed with time. We have to fight our own cognitive errors like lifestyle creep. And we have to ruthlessly eliminate time thieves.
Don't be dollar-wise and hour-foolish.
Exactly. Where are you spending time on low-return activities? Social media, for instance, ranks dead last out of 27 leisure activities for making people happy. Yet we pour hours into it.
So outsourcing things like cleaning or grocery shopping is actually a great investment.
It's one of the best. You are literally buying back time for more productive or more joyful things. You're buying a piece of that economic security right there.
And for budgeting, the source suggests the 3 buckets method.
That's right. Every new dollar gets a job. Bucket 1 is immediate consumption bills, rent, fun. Bucket 2 is intermediate goals, a house down payment in, say, 3 to 5 years.
And bucket 3 is long-term, retirement.
By separating them, you focus on quick, achievable wins, which keeps you motivated.
And the quickest win of all, maybe the single most critical piece of advice from this section,
has to be the employer 401k match.
It is, without a doubt, the best investment you will ever see.
I mean, think about it. It's an immediate, tax-deferred, 100% return on your money. It's guaranteed.
If your company matches up to 3% and you don't contribute that 3%, you are just voluntarily lighting free money on fire.
You have to fund that match. Under almost any circumstance, you just have to.
Okay, so we've got character, earning power, and the leverage of time. That brings us to the final multiplier, diversification, D.
Right. Income is the foundation, but investing is the bridge. You're moving from earning based on your labor to earning based on your capital.
Where someone else is doing the real work for you.
And honestly, the investing part is easier than the earning part. The focus is simple: passive, diversified, and low cost.
So things like broad market, low-cost ETFs, exchange-traded funds.
Exactly. And diversification is your financial body armor. It's about accepting that you will be wrong sometimes. You never, ever put all your eggs in one basket.
The source material has that painful story from the founder who lost 70% of his net worth.
Because it was all tied up in his own company's stock, red envelope. That one story is a terrifying lesson in concentration risk.
So you diversify your assets. But you also need to diversify your life, right? This is a whole-person project. It's not done in isolation.
You need a strong community. You need allies.
And our sources point to 3 key relationship nuggets here. First, the single most important economic decision you will ever make
is who you choose to partner with.
The data on this is wild. Married individuals are 77% wealthier than singles.
And it's not just about 2 incomes. It's risk pooling, shared goals, accountability. And on the flip side, financial disagreement is the #1 predictor of divorce.
So if your goals aren't aligned, that's a huge economic risk.
A huge risk. Second nugget.
Yeah.
Make rich friends. And not for superficial networking.
But because we learn by mimicry, we subconsciously model the behaviors of the people around us.
How they save, how they talk about opportunities, how they manage risk. They offer powerful behavioral models.
But there's a big caveat here.
A huge one. Do not trust their specific investment advice. People only ever talk about their wins. Model their discipline, but keep your own investing passive and broad.
And the third and final nugget is to normalize talking about money with your trusted allies.
Yes, money is the operating system of capitalism. Avoiding the topic only helps the people who already have it.
You have to talk about compensation, about taxes, about budgeting. That shared knowledge is powerful.
So, to bring the whole algebra together, economic security comes from maximizing, focus your income, and mitigating risk through diversification in your investments.
All of that is leveraged exponentially by time.
The whole equation falls apart without the bedrock of Stoicism, the character and the disciplined habits to see it through, especially when it gets hard.
And in the end, this whole pursuit, it's a means to an end, isn't it? It's about being able to choose how you live and be fully present for the people who matter.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's having the flexibility to care for a dying parent at home, or having the time to spend a whole weekend with your son looking for a lost baseball glove, just because it matters to him.
That's the real return on investment.
So since economic security is really about buying back your time and giving yourself options, here's something to think about. If you achieved total economic security today, what is the single most important thing you would choose to buy back with your newly freed time? What's the non-financial thing you would finally invest in?